So hi everyone and welcome to Architecture in the Den, and this time we really are entering the den, as today it's all about Lego play. So, so if you're listening to this on Spotify, you might want to actually go onto YouTube and watch this on YouTube because Pablo and I have got our Lego sets in front of us. So we're going to see where this conversation goes. So first of all, welcome Pablo.
Hello.
And do you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
So I'm an architect. I'm from Spain. I'm in London at the moment, and I've been working abroad in different countries, and now I'm quite settled in London for like 5 years already. And yeah, I'm working for a company here. I'm busy as the city is, and but yeah, I have always a bit of time to play. Let's say like that.
That sounds good. And is that just Lego?
Not always, but
I think I must say Lego got me through the first lockdown. I don't know about you.
yeah, that's true. Like you find in the house things that you didn't use for a long time, and also you have the time,
Mm,
so you rediscover this. It's true. I agree. I totally agree.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see in the background. So this is where we've got. So I bought this. Can you see my set?
Of course.
Oh, I'm on a bit of a slant. I'm obviously not quite prepared for this. So I bought this just before lockdown, and I just thought, how am I going to keep myself occupied? So I bought that. I've never kind of bought a Lego set before in my life, and then kind of gradually went a little bit obsessed, and
Oh wow.
it's got like. But actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just bring this down here. I'm going to bring. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I'm going to pull this apart. So just bring
Ah,
my
you killed
set.
someone.
Yeah. I wonder what the best way to show this is. Obviously, if you're on Spotify, it's not going to. Right, okay, so I bought this. Now, yes, it's Legos, whatever it is, city, something or other, bookstore.
Uh-huh.
And what I really liked about it was the simplicity.
There is someone in the tree, isn't it?
Yes, there's someone in the tree. Well, yeah,
That's very interesting.
it's like someone's in the tree, kind of just rescuing an aeroplane. Yeah, what I liked about it was the way that it came apart,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of split into, kind of like set plans and sections.
Mm-hmm.
And so the instructions, we've got the plan here. If I just get my camera this way. Oh no, hold on. Just plugging my camera back in. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a proper plan, very colorful.
Yeah, so what I really liked about this was that it did, break down into a plan.
Yeah.
Then
And if,
each floor, was a plan. And
yeah.
oh no, there wasn't a basement, but in the other side, there was. Yeah, so it was the plan, and then just the way these connected, I thought was really
Mm-hmm.
elegant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just pop them together, and then this is like a plan section, or a nice
Mm-hmm.
isometric or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just, for me, was a bit of a springboard into, right, okay, what am I going to do next? And then from there, hold on. From there, this emerged. So for me, oh, let's go back onto my view. So this is my box of houses. I started making sort of typical houses that we do. So at Pride Road, we do sort of domestic extensions, and a lot of the time we have to explain. Okay, the plan view doesn't quite work on that. A lot of the time we have to explain simple concepts to clients. And online, you know, when we were first communicating on Zoom, you know, this Lego was a really good way of explaining quite simply to clients, you know, the difference between a gable roof and a hipped roof.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. And it's very simple and you can read it properly. If you, I mean, because we are working with people that is not architect, so it's better. Yeah, yeah, it's fantastic.
And you can see the technology,
Extension.
the technology of the Lego, the kind of like, you know, standalone Lego set that you know, kind of started to use. I'm clearly not prepared for this, but you know, and you can start to explain things like, you know, party rules, you know, party boundaries. You know, if you want to build an extension, you have to set it in.
Fantastic. Well, that extension don't need the approve, no? So you have one from the council. So you have one for planning and the other one. That's good.
Yeah, so I've got that. So this is about how to do two-story side.
Exactly, two side. Yeah, two-story side.
Two-story side extension with a, oh, where's my little roof? With a subservient roof.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Oh, how did that go? But you can start to see, well, I just, you know, the lessons that I learned from the other piece is just how to make these come off easily.
Yeah, that's great.
So so it was a brilliant tool that kept me amused and clients, because it just made it all really relatable. And then I kind of went down oh, hold on, another little wormhole of kind of making.
Where is that dress?
Do you like my dress? That's like,
Yeah, I love it.
so, so that's me. Or that was me pre-lockdown with kind of like slightly shorter hair. Now my hair's gone a bit longer. And then also this was my terraced house. So, you know, we've got terraced houses and how you can put
An extension.
a dormer.
Wow.
And we can have, you know, that again, a lot of people want to do that infill.
Yeah, exactly.
But what they don't realize is that actually when you fill that gap, it gets really dark inside.
Yes, yeah.
So you actually need to have a completely sort of different way of doing it. And again, you know, kind of use this to get, so
Wow.
and then you can pop that on there.
Yeah, and you have the roof glass there. That's great.
No, the roof glass, that was quite tricky to get hold of.
But it's fantastic. Is it to show to the people that you don't have light there, like you have more square meters, blah blah blah. The kitchen is gonna be fantastic, but
It's really dark.
It's really dark.
So you can see I spent a lot of time on eBay getting all these bits, and my accountant was just hysterical because they were like, Lego, you can't put it through the business. But then I explained what I was doing. I've got if you keep your own accounts, I've got a line on my I can't remember what number it is, but it's dedicated to Lego purchases from eBay in my accounts, and so I can just scan. So I'd take my receipt bank, I'd use my receipt bank to take photos of my receipts, and then upload it and go Lego.
Wow.
And my accountant
Wow.
just rolls his eyes and goes,
Wow. I
Oh,
can't believe it.
so there you go. So that's what I was doing in Lego. Go on. So show me what you've been up to, and what have you done?
Well, uh, first of all, you started with Lego like 1 year or 2 years ago, like before the lockdown.
When did I start with Lego?
Yeah.
Like this. Oh, I think just at the start of lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, I used to play with it when I was a child.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. Yeah.
when. What about you? When did you first?
No, I was obsessive when I was a child, and I think when I received the first present Lego, like I was like 5 or 6 years, and until you have presents, I was asking always for the same. I was a bit too much, obsessive. So I had a very strong relationship when I was a child with Lego, and I think it's the only game that I still have at my parents.
Mm,
But it's I think the relationship changed when I was, well, there was a gap obviously, and when I was working as an architect, I thought, like, like as you say, like there are ways to show things that maybe you can't explain properly with your words, or like the space. So I bought this amazing box that
mhm.
is for architects. Obviously, Uh, maybe I was a bit shy to buy Legos only for something, and I was more like confident that this box say architecture. So everything, all the pieces are
Mhm.
and white and transparent, and it's more like an abstract architecture, like less colorful and more about the massing and the space and the relationship between them. And funny thing is that I discovered that before, when I was a child, I always was working with these pieces in like one on top of the other, and I was doing like, maybe if I have to cover a space, I do like that, like the normal thing, and maybe I was a bit boring. So I don't know if it's because, like you grow, but I start to discover that you can play with plans, sorry, with planes, and you can start to do things that are like, you less you use less material,
Yeah,
and you can cover more space.
yeah,
So maybe, I think when I bought this set, I had this sculpture that is mine. It was you can put it in all the different ways, and always is different. Well, always is, so shows a different thing, but
yeah.
also the relationship with the pieces, like.
Oh,
So I was inspired by this, but I discovered that I was enjoying more in Lego to do things like that. And how is possible, sorry.
so if you were listening on a podcast, what would we say? So we're showing flat white planes that have been inserted vertically rather than horizontally between the Lego studs,
Exactly.
and so
So
yeah, all of a
so
sudden you've got quite thin planes just going in
exactly.
different
So
directions.
with less material, you can start to create spaces and be more like discover new relationship between them.
Mm,
So
mm,
maybe like Gary, like the Utrecht house for the Cubism, and all these people. For example, I was more interested in how you create details in architecture. I was
yeah,
I
what's
was
that?
I was thinking in to the slab to a
Yes.
concrete slab or a beam slab. So you you can create these kind of things.
So you've got fins vertically placed, those so those
Exactly. And you can have a like a sandwich panel, these kind of things.
yeah.
So, or the, for example, this one is more about how Calder, the sculpture,
Mm-hmm.
like how you can create as different sculptures that sustain itself with the weights.
Mm.
So I with yeah, is the thing that I want to say is that when I start to work again with Lego and when I was an adult, I discovered that there was more relationship not only to put the bricks on top of each other, if
Yeah.
not that you can start to do things that can move or can create different spaces in a different way, and I was enjoying like a lot, like I was crazy, like in fact I bought this in the office and we had this in the office and was fantastic, to be honest. Yeah,
So have you got any other finished pieces around there you want to show us?
maybe for example was this one, this was more about the movement with weights
Ooh,
in
right.
order to in order to do a beam
Yeah.
or like a bridge that you have, maybe you have to can move in only one way, and so structurally works,
Mm-hmm.
but and cannot collapse.
Mm.
It's, these kind of things, or more like how the same piece can is this piece is this kind of platform, and you can create this space and it's the same platform.
Mm-hmm.
So how you can create different things with the same material, you know.
So how do you so do you use it in kind of concept design for buildings?
In the concept design, when you are thinking about the space, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But I'm usually I work with the architecture a lot with the as an sculpture
Mm.
in a different scale, but help me a lot in order to see which is where is the importance of the light, where is coming, so and all these games of sorry, these plays with between the different spaces, the relationship.
Yeah.
So help me a lot in that.
So what did they say the first time you took it into your office?
Freaky. Like we are a serious office, Pablo, like blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's something like we love models and we do a lot of models and we spend a lot of money in models and maybe they don't work. And with this one, you can discover new things, and I think it's great. To be honest, I'm sure a lot of architects they use it, in different ways. For example, your way is fantastic because you are is you can see obviously literally the extension that you want to or the refurbish that you want to do at yours, so
Mhm.
I'm sure the your clients are so happy, and also it's fun, like
Mhm. Yeah, it's a really good way of thinking. I mean, we've both used it for a completely different purpose,
yeah, exactly,
which is
yeah,
what's brilliant. I think
yeah.
mine just like you say, mine's really literal. It's like this is like this is a little hipped roof gable. But you can, for me, it's about you can use it to show issues and explain issues quite simply to clients when they can't quite get an abstract concept, and you can just go, well, we need to be clear of the boundary, so you need to keep a gap, or if the roof kind of goes at a certain angle, it's going to crash into the windows. Explaining geometry without having to kind of draw, spending a long time drawing. So
I think it's great. Also, a lot of people doesn't understand plans or elevations, or and and also these kind of decisions are in the beginning of the project, to be honest. You know, maybe they want an extension and they don't know exactly. So it's, I think it's fantastic that you showed this in this way. You know, like we have a lot of time. Well, not a lot, but we have time to do plans and elevations and sections. You
Mhm.
know, but in the beginning to play a bit is great.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Have you tried 3D modeling? Like computer modeling?
Printer,
Printing.
like 3D printer.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's expensive. Yeah, still is quite well. No, it's not as expensive as years ago, but it's still kind of expensive.
I've not had chance to play or try. I'm kind of
Mm.
intrigued about like laser cutting and all the rest of it. I think.
It's so interesting, and also now they can even print a proper house, you know, in the real scale. So it's you. I think the future is gonna come from there for sure.
Okay. Just bear with me. I'm going to pause the recording and let my husband in with the dog. There you go. So back again. Sorry about that. Hubby had forgotten his keys and he's just been out for a walk with the dog. So just let him in.
How is the weather?
Yeah, it's good.
It's
It's good.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So, what other sculptural stuff do you do? Is it just the Lego? Have you made any parts or bought any specialist parts?
I don't have anything here now, but I used to do with well, I love sand castles. That I'm not you. Maybe it's not the kind of a sculpture that you expect, but I can spend uh, days and days playing in with the sun, and I still do it. You know,
Yes.
I I born very close to the beach, so I spent all my childhood doing that, and maybe for the iPads, I started architecture for that. So and also make sense that my relationship with sculpture and architecture it's very close because maybe when you start to work in the sun has to be like that. Is for me were buildings, but if you see from outside, it's a sculpture, no, or a
Mhm.
scale or a model. So
So whereabouts were you? Did you grow up?
sorry,
Where did you grow up?
in Valencia in Spain.
So near the beach.
Yeah, by the beach. Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. So I have this relationship with the sea all my life.
Mm,
If
mm,
you know, when I sometimes I need to be alone by myself, even in winter, and walk or sit down there and think about life and blah blah blah. So I have this kind of relationship. And to be honest, I really enjoy to be by myself doing
mm.
sand castles or sculptures. Yeah. I
So,
don't.
where did
Sorry.
your architecture journey take you? So where did you study?
I studied in Valencia in the Polytechnic, and
Mhm.
when I finished, I was working there, and the crisis was high, was quite strong in Spain. So with architecture, so when the crisis came, I left the country and I went to a refugee camp in Africa to work for
Right.
a bit, and was really good. Was between Ethiopia and Somali region,
Mhm.
and we were doing schools for like Somali region is 30 years in a civil war, so there are a lot of people in the refugee camps, like for millions of people, and the borders, the other countries are not really rich, so they cannot allow the people to go inside, and so these kind of refugee camps are like cities, like 200,000 people or even more, so they need some infrastructure, and I was there for a bit before I came to London, and yeah, it was great. It was a really good experience. Also dangerous, but it's what it is.
So, and then when you came to London, what did you do? Did you go to finish university over here?
No, I finished the university in Valencia. So when I have to come back to Europe after the refugee camp, I done my PhD
Mm,
in Spain, and I came to law. Yeah, right. When I finished the PhD, I received an offer from here, so I joined that company. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, what did you do your PhD in?
I was doing a research between the relationship between architecture and time after the Einstein theories, because normally the architects they work with the space, but
Mm,
no, or at least they know a lot of space or to explain the space or analyze the space, but they don't explain or they don't work a lot with the time.
mm,
So we, if that theory is real, the relationship between the time and space, we wanted to analyze why we don't talk about time, or
mm,
if we talk several topics, but but we have a we, we don't explain the time properly, I think.
mm.
So was the research was to analyze that situation. Yeah.
And have
A
you
bit,
done anything with that since? Or do you incorporate it into any of your work?
yeah, well, the first contract that I received was a a villa that they were a rich villa in the desert that they wanted to see the pass of the time. This is a bit abstract, but they contact me, and because my background was a bit theoretical in that way, and we done this kind of this villa that is not published because it was for the client that don't want, but
Mm.
is in the desert. And yeah, was very well, was quite interesting
How
project
did you sort of expose the passage of time? How did you?
because as it's by it's you cannot see the villa because it's behind the sun, so the all the windows are watching the sky. So and the sky from the earth is is the pass of the time, and you have all this yeah, well, is our relationship with the universal time is exploring the universe, or watching what is going out, or the our uh, way around the sun.
Mm,
So what you didn't we didn't show any landscape. The only landscape that you can see from all the rooms and also from the center of the villa was the sky.
mm. Sounds very poetic.
Yeah, it was very poetic, but
Mm.
it's real. Was real. We finished and we built it and we finished. Yeah.
And whereabouts in the world are you now?
London.
In London.
London. Sorry, London.
And how long have you been in London for?
5 years.
Yeah. So, and do you like London? Are you going to stay here?
I love London. I it's very it's how can I say, like, I love that you never know the city properly. Like always there is something to discover because the boroughs between in the city are totally different one between the other. And it's fantastic how rich is the city.
Mm,
So I love to. I'm based in Vauxhall,
mm,
but every time that I go to other boroughs, I'm surprised how, because you cannot, even that friends of mine that they born here, they don't know a lot of things. So it's always something to discover. So this feeling is great. I will stay, to be honest.
mm. Well, I think that sort of brings us to the end of this unusual and but rather fun podcast. Thank you very much for coming on,
Thank
Pablo.
you, Lisa.
There you go. You see, half an hour just went straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
We're still recording though. Thanks for listening and watching this podcast. If you liked it, please like it and share it. And so you can subscribe to our channels on Spotify and YouTube. If you are interested in coming on as a guest, please do search for Lisa Range, you can find me or have a look at our franchise website, which is prideroadfranchise.co.uk. So thank you very much for coming on the show, and that was such fun.
Bye.
Bye.